Welcome to the R.E.A.L Podcast, where hosts Shane Kilby and Duane Murphy dive deep into the world of real estate agent life. From overcoming hurdles to celebrating success, join us as we explore the journeys of industry veterans and rookies alike. Get ready for bi-weekly episodes packed with advice, feedback, and mentorship from the best in the business.
All right, so everybody, we are here live today recording this for future editing and publishing, but we are here with the Real Estate Agent Life Podcast with myself, Shane Kilby, and co-host that other guy, Duane Murphy, and very, very special distinguished guest, Brittany Boatwright Johnson from Knoxville, Tennessee. So with a warm welcome, I want to make a little introduction for her because it is greatly deserved and greatly justified. So Brittany Boatwright Johnson is from Knoxville, Tennessee. She's been in the business since 2008. She leads a group of 12 rock star agents of the Boatwright Group of the Realty Executives. Some of her background is in professional leadership, starts as has served as the CEO and team lead of the Boatwright Group under the Realty Executives of Hardin Valley. She holds a degree in marketing and psychology, which if you're in real estate, you know that comes to be a high value. That has helped equip her with a unique blend of skills beneficial to the real estate industry. Her personal life, she is married to Master Sergeant Aaron Johnson of the United States Air Force, and together they have one young son. Their community engagement portion of what she has been involved in is she is actively involved in serving and exploring the East Tennessee community since 2008, demonstrating a deep commitment to the region. And her team composition has 12 members of the team, each bringing a diverse expertise to the group. Brittany's leadership and dedication have significantly contributed to the prominence and success of the Boatwright Group in Knoxville, Tennessee real estate market. Ooh, that was a lot to say in one.
That's a lot. My name itself is like a whole paragraph.
Listen, I've said that so many times. I'm like driving down the road. Brittany Boatwright Johnson. So it is
It does flow well, though.
Yes, it flow well. We have had some we've got some guests coming up that have some really, really tongue twisters, real good tongue twisters. So how are you?
I'm good. And thank you guys for the introduction and for having me on your podcast. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of listening to you speak back at Conversion Con just a few months ago. And I knew at that moment, I said, I have got to connect with this professional real estate entrepreneur. She is just she's got a story, and she's been so successful, and she can be such an influence to other real estate professionals, both seasoned and rookie in the business. So tell us a little bit, how did you get into the business? Where did you start in real estate?
Yeah, and it goes back to my degree. So my main focus of my degree was psychology in elementary education as well as marketing. And so my goal leaving, the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, was to become a teacher. I had my externship my senior year at UT, discovered I did not like being in the classroom setting. But after that, I got the opportunity to work with the AmeriCorps through the Just Lead Foundation here in town, which is a nonprofit, working with inner city children, after school program, care, curriculum, and things like that. Well, that did not pay the bills. And so while I was doing that in the evenings, earlier in the day, I got an internship to work for State Farm. I quickly became really great at connecting with people. I fell in love with life insurance. If I wasn't selling real estate, I would be selling life insurance. I wholeheartedly believe in that product and what it can do for your family. And so I went down the State Farm route. I was going to become a State Farm business owner. I ended up moving to Charlotte, North Carolina to work with the number one agency in that state, actually in the region, in the Southeast region. And while I was there, I happened to read a book on my commute, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know it's probably cliche. A lot of us have read that, but reading that book and just learning about trading time for money and working to live and living to work really dawned on me. Moved back to Knoxville because that's where I wanted to open up my State Farm agency. And in that time frame, I went through the process of buying my own house in 2017. That being one of the first people in my family to ever own a home, and I did it as a single woman at the time, really inspired me to look into the real estate, opportunity for my profession. People thought I was crazy. I was leaving a guaranteed thing. The sales manager for State Farm still emails me to this day because he wants me to be one of his agents, but I wanted to step out and do real estate. So I left my cushy job. I had just bought a house, had my first little baby Mercedes. It was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go full commission. My mom thought I was crazy and I didn't look back. 2017, I joined my first team. I didn't know what the heck this team was. It was a God thing. My first team was phenomenal. I was with them for 2.5 years. I went to another team because splits mattered. We all been there. And I was on that team for just 9 months until I went into being a solo agent in April of 2020. My husband was deployed in Guam and coming back home, and I didn't know what the heck a COVID was. And I went solo and COVID happened. But, I put my head down. That was a phenomenal year in business. And so from there, I had to begin a team in June of 2021 because of the influx of repeat business, referrals I was getting and things like that. So from there, the Boatwright Group started June 2021 and we've just grown since then.
That's awesome. So there were a lot of nuggets. Duane and I've talked like we need that Brad Lee bomb nugget in here that we can, drop those.
Yeah, we won't give Shane sound effect button because no.
So a couple of things that jumped out of me right off the bat was the elementary school teacher, right? I mean, first and foremost, like that takes the patience of Job. I have a 4th grader and my wife's and she's like yourself, like she's a beast of a she boss. To watch those two go at it daily, I'm terrified that me and the dogs are terrified. It's an elementary teacher of all people, like that takes the patience of Job. However, I do think it comes to serve you well in this business, right? As Duane knows, I've been there. Any other agent that's watched this and had time in the business, they know, or listen to this rather, they know that having those patience, some of our clients a lot of times can be like working with elementary students. And I don't take that away from any listeners that are buying or selling real estate, but it's the patience aspect of it. And also the psychology part. Like how many times do we sit around the office or on calls or Zooms or whatever and talk about the therapy or the therapist role that we play in our profession every day? We're always balancing the emotions of our So let me ask you this. So the insurance part and the rich dad, poor dad, we have all consumed that content and it's excelled a lot of our success where it is and many other titles as well. What would you pinpoint to be your greatest success in business? I have my hunch, but I want you to share what you feel like is been thus far, because you're not done. I mean, you still got many milestones, but you crushed some milestones. So far, what do you feel like your biggest success in business has been?
It's two things for me. One is kind of selfish because we're human after all. And the other one is about my people, which is why I do all of this. I often tell my, you might as well call her my executive assistant, Charlie. I'm like, Charlie, if it was just you and I'll be much more profitable. And I know that. And just yesterday, she's like, but you do it for the people, you do it for your community. And I'm like, absolutely. And I know I have a God-given purpose here and I love on people. The people come first. But selfishly, my greatest success has been, surviving, opening a brand new company. So I'll go back to 2022. I gave birth to my son in March. And then I moved my team from one company to Realty Executives, knowing that I was going to open up my own branch, which is Realty Executives Hardin Valley. And we moved over here at the end of August. Well, by September 8th, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And I had a decision at that point whether I would close up, back off all of my ambitious goals for business and just focus on treatment. My son turned 6 months that day, or continue blazing the path forward. I chose the latter. And so miraculously, God given, I looked up and 18 months later, we had almost closed $1 billion in real estate volume. My company grew. I was not focused on recruiting at all. I was going through treatment. But because I had such a great name in our real estate community and people knew that I'm about people first and they're not a number. We grew organically. And so that was incredible. So when I finally came back into leading the company, last year was my first full year without surgeries, anything. My son's good. He's in daycare now. Systems got fixed. People got brought in. We got a full-time broker. So for me, having that success while going through the hardest battle literally of my life was my one win selfishly. Professionally, like as a team leader, I talk about John a lot. And I tell people I had an interview today with a young lady who is thinking about joining my team. Seeing an agent who thinks about getting out of this career, like going back into the corporate world because he was on a team for 2 years and didn't close anything. Didn't close a single piece of business. And he joined my team in August with 4 other people. And I said, John, and the other people that joined, I said, only one you're going to make it. And I'm not being mean about that. It's just a proven fact that given even all the tools, resources, and opportunities, if you're not a highly accountable individual, it's not going to work out for you. Real estate just isn't. And I thought that was going to be John. I told him that, loving accountability, right? John and I, 2 weeks into him being on the team, had a very real phone call conversation. Well, it was over Zoom. I told him exactly what I expected, exactly what to do. And he turned it around to where in November of 2024, he was the number 1 agent in the entire office, the entire firm across my team, other team leads, and solo agents. John, the previous week, stood up and told the team he's a very private person and he has like a very even keel demeanor. It meant a lot to me and I almost teared up. He stood up and said, guys, you don't know, but I almost got out of real estate. Like I told myself I was not good at this. I was going to get a 9 to 5. And it's just all because I leaned into the accountability and coaching that Brittany gave me that I had mass success. And I'm like, and that's it. That's it right there. So I love making more Johns. That's why I do what I do.
That's a testimony there. It's like, and I'm glad. So I want to back up for a second to you making the statement about with Charlie, your assistant, like we could make so much more profit if it were just us. So Duane, how many times have we had that? Like weekly, at least weekly.
Yeah.
Probably by text daily.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, hey, are you okay? I haven't heard from you in like 2 days. Are you on the cliff? Are you on the edge? Are you about to get rid of everybody? It's a constant battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we have so many variables that if we could control them, they would all be perfect. But there are so many variables that we don't have control over. And at the end of the day, our soul won't let us do that because team leaders and brokers, owners that are connected to their people, it's a different calling.
Yeah. I wanted to close up shop. I actually reached out to the CEO of R.E.A., Justin Bailey, one time, and I was like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm so done. And he knows me so well at this point. He's like, you still done? I'm like, no, I'm back in it. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Just ignore me. Like, it's literally the hardest job. Just so hard.
The roller coaster. It's the most roller coaster.
Yeah. Brittany, as independents, we have that same conversation, except for it's with the mirror. Like, I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
We're in the same company. It's independence. Like, hey, I'm out. I'm like, okay, well, come down here and help me. I need another crazy individual just like myself.
Yeah.
But think about this. The 3 of us, like, we've had that same conversation when we were agents. At some point, you're like, I'm so done with this. I'm so over this. I'm ready to go let someone else deal with it. And then it's that one single parent, or it's that widow, or it's the potential foreclosure that you save. It's you don't make any money on those deals. You look at the watch, you're like, I've lost a lot of money. But then it's like the hugs and the handshakes and the emotional relief of that stress at the closing table. And then after that, you get the note cards and you get the Christmas cards and you get the photos and the tags on social media for years after that. It's like, that's what we do it for.
Well, now moving into the role that, that all 3 of us are in, running our respective companies and teams and, and probably all of us probably have other businesses on top of that, right? So we're running all that and it's impacting people in a whole different way. Like we used to directly impact our clients. Now it's, and I heard it in Brittany's, statement, what she said. I heard it through just the voice and the care, the inflection on it, on how much she truly cares about her people. And it's like, right, if they would go down the path that we guide them and listen to what we say, know that we have their best intentions with what we share and what we say and what we ask them to do, like, we literally have the ability to change people's trees, change
Yes.
their lives. I mean, and to give them opportunities that they otherwise would never get. And, and John being the most recent example, or the example you just shared, there's no doubt that throughout your firm and your team, that you probably could list 30, 40 more without even really thinking about it. Because, I mean, you don't just do that for one person, right? I mean, it's an affliction that we all have, on serving people. And this is our way of doing it, which is in the roles that we're all in. So I commend you on that. I have a little bit of a backup question, and then we'll move forward a little bit. So you said your husband was deployed. I believe I heard Master Sergeant.
Yep.
So still active in the military today.
Still active.
So, first and foremost, thank you both for your service, and because that's not just a one or the other, that's you both in it, right?
Okay.
So thank you for serving our country. That is awesome.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
That's up there. So, Master Sergeant, how's that relationship work? Like, so now is still being like deployed occasionally, or?
When Aaron and I, going back, we actually met in 2015. I was out with some friends of mine, all guys, and I just got out of a terrible relationship. I was 25 at the time, and they were like, "You can't dance with anybody, Britt." I had one too many tequila shots. It was a blur. And they're like, "You can dance with Johnson only." So Aaron and I, he gave me his number. He took me on a date that next Tuesday, and it was great. The only part was he was going on a 6-month deployment, and I was like, "Oh no, we're done dating a month into us dating." And so I believe in the timing is, everything in the right time. So we reconnected 3 years later. We both knew what we wanted. We were both strong, independent people. And that's what I love about my husband and I. We are wonderful together. He is my perfect match, but separate. We still have our own interests and friend groups and things we do to fulfill us, as a human. But yeah, when we started dating again in 2018, he deployed 4 times back to back. To the first time, I believe it was the deed. And then he went to Afghanistan twice, and then Guam the last time. And he went back to back one time because he wanted to buy me the ring he thought I deserved. Wanted me to have the diamond on my finger that he thought was appropriate for me. So I forgave him for that, even though I was very upset at the time. That was not easy being apart. He missed 4 of my birthdays. He missed holidays. And I knew that, when we got married, I would hope for him to stay here and raise the children with me. Being a real estate agent and doing it alone, very, very hard. So he applied for a job when we first got together. He didn't get the promotion. And this is just how God works. He ended up getting a job where he's non-deployable now. We got married in 2020. Yeah. And that December, he got a job to where he's the only one on base that can do what he does. So they cannot deploy him anymore.
Nice.
So apparently 2020 is like the year you accomplish everything.
I mean, yeah.
Zombie apocalypse. Like, hey, let's get married. Let's launch a team. Let's launch a brokerage. Let's do all of it.
Yeah, let's make all the great decisions at once. Yeah, he is he's my rock. And it's funny when people meet me, because I am so strong and I have such strong opinions, big personality. Aaron's just as strong, but in a very silent way. He's not loud at all. He has his demeanor about him, that confident, strong silence. And it really works out well for us, especially parenting our son too. Like, for punishment, he used to make my nephews do push-ups. And I'm like, oh, that's the military in you. And so seeing him parent our son now is just, it's funny the way he talks to him.
That is awesome.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's this business is I'm an instructor too. And one of the main things that we lead into our classes orientation, and we're having conversations with potential students and stuff like that. I don't hide behind the statistic that 87% of agents are out in 36 months or less. And I try to be forward with that, but I also try to explain to them why that 87% is that 87%, and to prepare them for that plan, that road ahead, and that it's not an easy road, that there's adversity in that path. There's financial planning and strategy and sometimes struggles in that. And it's like listening to your story front and center, and then you sharing it here is like, I want listeners and those who watch this video content later to understand, even if they're not in real estate, that your testimony goes to show that with enough faith and enough forward focus and just and commitment, that discipline, that follow through. Like, when you played that video and you're putting the key in the door, and you're like, pause for a second, like, do I back up? And is this a sign not to move forward? Because, sometimes like, this is a sign to do this, this is a sign to do that. Is this a sign to back off? And you're like, nope, this is a sign to move forward, full steam ahead. I just want listeners and viewers to think about that on this journey, or whatever that journey might be. If you're in real estate, you've been in real estate, that there are good days and bad days. You've heard it from 3 people here, that as an agent, we question our sanity.
Yep.
We're, as leaders, we've questioned our sanity pretty much weekly, daily, hourly, every 15 minutes at times. We're still here. And why? Because we want to see the next agent, the next buyer, the next seller succeed, right? So I just wanted to put some emphasis on that, and that we all face adversity. We all face struggles and strife in this business and life, but you got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And if you do, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So thank you so much for sharing that. Let me ask you this. What would you say has been your biggest failure in business? It's tough for us sometimes to go, I shouldn't have done this, but I learned a lot from it. What's been your biggest failure in business so far?
I know what it is. It is allowing the standards to become optional. So we all have our team agreements. We write in there what we expect from the teammates. And then we know that life happens for all of us. And instead of us still holding them accountable, we allow their excuses to become, what's expected. We let them, slide by with those. That cost me thousands upon dollars. It also, more importantly, ruins the culture of the team and the organization. So I'm someone, I like to see the good in everybody. I love for everybody to become their best selves, and I will look past red flags like I'm at a dang carnival. So getting out of that mindset and just leaning more into being a business operator, you have to always think about and that was my biggest lesson learned, having the wrong people on the bus.
How many times have we heard that? How many times have we heard that? It's and I have this conversation with agents all the time, and I don't want it to sound egotistical, but A players don't want to play with C players. They'll play with B players on the way up. A players want to play with A players because A players make A players perform at a higher level.
Absolutely.
You got to stick to the standard. You said, you kind of touched on it earlier. Well, the highest form of accountability, highest form of love is holding others accountable. Goals, those standards that they set for themselves. We do role play, 3 days a week, and invite everybody to that. But one of the things that we try to always do is set targets rather for the week, and it's not, nobody's looking over anybody's shoulders, but it's like, what's your target for the week? What's your target? Don't make it, say it for me, say it for you. And what's the penalty if you don't hit that? Right? It is all about that standard. It is about getting the right people on that bus. And not just that, but you'll lose the right people. The right people will get off the bus if you let too many of the wrong people on the bus. You agree?
Absolutely. That's happened before.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think as leaders, right, we've all learned that lesson the hard way. And then some of us have repeated it
Mm-hmm.
several times because it's like, well, maybe it was me, right? And then you repeat that lesson and then you learn it again. And then sooner or later it does sink in, and and that's truly it without a doubt. So Brittany, you've had tremendous success. I mean, your rocket ship's still going up. I mean, you haven't even maxed out yet on everything that you're going to accomplish and all the lives you're going to impact. There is like zero doubt that your elevator's still going up, which that's amazing. You overcame some major health, personal stuff, and getting beyond that, and just right business, life, all these challenges. Looking back on everything so far that you've been through and that you've done, what would be what's one thing that you would tell your younger self, or someone on the same journey as you? What do you wish that someone would have told you, like when you were younger and getting going and all this?
Very early on, I wish I understood that your community determines your aptitude. I am naturally an introverted person. I don't go out and seek relationships. I'm recharged by my me time. And so it wasn't until I started to lean on my community, so my church members, my husband, and the military family here. I mean, we're always brethren anyway, I feel like, but my early on success, repeat referral clients came from those guys using their VA loans when no one else really wanted to work with them. And so I would tell myself that your community is determines your net worth. I'm expounding upon that every single day, growing my team, cultivating, different other teams and individual agents coming into my firm. That just makes us all better. So I would tell my other self to get out there and network. Don't be so shy and reserved, to start to develop those relationships early on.
Solid advice. Advice.
Business.
Yeah, it is.
I had a quote that I saw right before we came on air, and it just hit. I mean, it just hit right. It said, if you're working towards success, prepare for pain, prepare for failure, prepare for betrayal, prepare for rejection, prepare for loneliness, and prepare for heartbreak. That's the price of winning.
I've had all those happen.
Literally, sister, I am with you. I'm keeping that one. I may frame that one.
Yeah.
That was a very good one. Let me ask you this. It could be a person, book, a story, a thing. What's your greatest influence in life and business?
Like who influences me?
Yeah. So, I mean, some people it was grandparents, some people it was uncle.
Oh, she knows who she is. I was adopted by my aunt when I was 10. My mother's younger sister. They're like 18 months apart. And she never had kids of her own. She took me and my two younger sisters in when mom, she was addicted to drugs at the time. And so we needed someplace to land, someplace safe. And my aunt, she's still living, and she had nothing more than a middle school education. She still worked at the same company until she retired last August. She worked there for 35 years. And she was a manager of this local restaurant back home in Memphis. We call her Bo. Everybody in my family, they go by Boatwright. We all grew up playing sports, so I still have friends that call me Boatwright. It's fine. But we call her Bo for short. And Bo, she was that manager who all of her employees trusted to come to her. They didn't go to the owners. Bill and Carla entrusted Bo with everything, the operations, caring on the people, loving them. She also cooked sometimes. She did recipes. She kept the inventory. She opened up and shut it down. She worked her butt off. I remember going to do my FAFSA before I applied to UT, and I saw how much she made. At that time, this was in 2008, she was making like $55,000. And she was like, is that good? And I was like, Bo, yeah, it's actually good for someone who does not have much education and works in the restaurant industry. She Like, is literally the hardest working, most selfless person I know. And so it was a God thing that my mother there was 12 of them. Well, 13 of them. She had 12 other siblings, and we couldn't went to go live with any of them. But Bo took us, and she made sacrifices for raising 3 girls and have children of her own. And so she's always my greatest inspiration. We're very, very similar.
Powerful testimony. We want to give some love and a shout out to Miss Bo. That is
yes.
That is absolutely. All right. So let's see. Anything else we got, Duane? Any other questions that you might have?
I was going to say it. How are we doing on time? Because Brittany, we're running up against the clock here.
You're fine. We got like 5 more minutes. I'm watching the traffic to see if traffic is backing up, leaving my office. You guys are good.
Like, all right. I see the traffic's not red yet, so I can still make it to my next appointment. Knowing that we're about to put a bow on this and get to the end, and at the very end, we're definitely have to get all your contact information so people can reach out to you and how they can find out more about you and find out more about your firm and your team and all those good things. Because anybody in your market area, they need to talk to you. So that we definitely want to end with that. But what's one last piece, right? Again, our target market could be anyone in business, but mostly it's real estate agents, real estate brokerage owners, someone involved in the real estate business, mortgage, whatever it may be. What's one piece of advice you can give them for the current market that we're in? What's the impact of wisdom you have to give them on our way out?
You know, it's funny because I was going to give advice based on you scripting that question differently, but it's still applicable, which is awesome. I would tell people that life is going to happen. There's so many things that we can't control. What I focused on the most when I was going through my journey with breast cancer was controlling the one thing I have control over that makes everything else easier. And for me, it was just getting up in the morning and getting myself ready. I did my hair, I did my makeup, I put on my nice outfit. I came in like the boss. I owned that. And that just kept me going, even on the hard days when I wanted to stay in bed, when I wasn't feeling my best. And so just show up as your best self. And just doing that is part of the journey. I think a lot of us fail before we even try as humans. And so when life happens, when distractions happen, things that are outside of your control, just do the one thing you have the most control over that's going to bring you the greatest impact in your day.
That's golden. That's golden. There's been so value that you have delivered today. So much wisdom, so much opportunity for seasoned agents, new agents, or just the general public to take away value from this. Brittany, it's been such a pleasure to have you on here today. So thankful that we could align our schedules for this opportunity. In the meantime, how would anyone, agent-wise, send referrals, hire sellers, or agents look to join your team or connect with you? How would anyone get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Yeah, the best way is my phone. My number is 865-386-6082. If you look for me on Instagram, it's just Brittany.Boatwright. Boatwright spelled W-R-I-G-H-T, the right path home. And on Facebook, Brittany Boatwright Johnson.
Yep, she is. She's there. She's thriving. She is full of excitement. Yes, she is fun to connect with. So if you want to connect with a very influential, inspirational person, she is one to connect with at every level. And she is a human. She's just like the rest of us. Reach out to her, connect with her. And until we see you guys again, or see you again, Miss Brittany, and probably at another event coming up here in the near future.
Yes.
A wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and the rest of your week. And take care.
Thank you. Yes. You too, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the R.E.A.L Podcast. Don't forget to connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more exclusive content. Keep striving for success, and we'll see you in the next episode.